Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Algebra 2. Today we are looking at a graphing calculator activity, so I hope you have your graphing calculator with you. The viewing window that we're going to be using for today's activity is -8 to 8 on the x-axis, and it looks like we can go from -6 to 6 on the y-axis. Also, just so you know, x-res affects, well, res is for resolution. Some of these graphs that we're doing today will take the calculator a long time to generate. So if you change your x-res from 1 to 2, that will double the speed at which the calculator generates the graph. Calculator still works at the same speed, but since you're using less resolution, the graph will appear more quickly. You don't have to do that, but if you want to, you can.
Oh, can you keep that up straight?
Yeah, we're going just from -8 to 8. It's actually right here. It's right on your handout. -8 to 8 on the x-axis,
Wonderful.
-6 to 6 on the y-axis. Now, the warm-up for today is a without a calculator problem. So what I'd like you to do is notice that the boundary ball is 0. And the way that I've realized can be helpful to students is to just have two different colors. Notice that the boundary ball is 0, so go ahead and draw the golf balls on the axis. Boundary ball at 0, and then take another golf ball that's to the right of 0, I'm going to put it at 1. And then I'm going to change colors. The other rule will be magenta, and oops, I accidentally selected purple. Let's change that to magenta. So that means that the zombie ball will be magenta in color. I would recommend you use, maybe if you don't have colored pencils, just use like pencil for one color and pen for the other one. So zombie ball, and then any input less than 0 will also follow the magenta rule. So we got 4 golf balls here. 2 purples, one of which is a zombie ball, and 2 green golf balls. Would you please use the magenta rule to place the magenta golf balls, and use the green rule to place the green golf balls? Go ahead and place all 4 of those on your own. I'm going to pause the camera so that when you're done, we'll come back and check in. Okay, so we're back. If you pause the camera in the luxury and comfort of your own home or wherever it is you're watching this, hopefully you placed the zombie ball at -1. And interestingly, the boundary ball also went to -1. Now Bo is going to help us place golf ball 1. Bo, go ahead.
All right, so I thought it was 1-1.
Okay, so Bo, you're thinking that if you put a 1 in for x, well, now, the green rule, by the way, is to take -2 times the input.
Oh, that's the green rule, sorry, yeah. Never mind. It'll be, just give me a sec.
Take your time.
1 -3, right?
All right, time's up. Yeah, 1 -3 is correct. Yeah, that's it. So 1 follows the green rule, and -1 follows the purple rule. Raise your hand if you're reasonably sure you know what the output will be when the input is -1. Or in other words, what's f of -1? Kelsey? Did you say -3? That is correct. So golf ball -1 goes to -3. So now we have 2 different colored rays. Remember, a ray has an endpoint, but it goes on forever in one direction. So the magenta ray looks like this, and the green ray looks like that. So your piecewise function should have a magenta piece and a green piece. Green piece. Any questions on how to do this without a calculator? So today's lesson is all about how to use the features of the TI-84 plus CE to get piecewise functions with a calculator. So let's type this one into the calculator. On your calculator, you've already adjusted the viewing window. And so what we're going to do is I've got us function up here in y1. So I'm going to use y2. And what we'll do, the keystrokes are there, but I'm going to pull the rule down here so I can see both at the same time. I'm going to put 2x minus 1 in parentheses. So just to kind of grip it together. So the first rule, 2x minus 1, put that in parentheses. And now here's this super fancy secret keystroke for putting in the domain. This is going to be only true for x is less than 0. How do we put that in? Well, if you press alpha y equals, it gives you this nifty menu. And we're just going to pick the first item there. It's going to be rule/domain restriction. So just press item 1 there. So it's like, it looks like a thick division sign. Now, the boundary, I'm going to put this in parentheses also. Let's always put our boundary restrictions in parentheses. Let's type in x is less than 0. So here's how we do it. X is the X button. To get less than, be aware that we basically have to test every golf ball to see if it passes this test. So if we're going to go to the test menu, join me in pressing second math, which is the test menu. That's where you can pick up the less than symbol. So that's only true for x is less than 0. Okay, so that's the first rule. Question?
How did you get the,
How to get that?
no, how did you get the that?
The less than?
No, to the y.
On the calculator.
So the y.
Oh, this line right here? Is that what you're asking about?
It's y.
Oh, yeah.
Y,
It's, yeah, you have to go to the y equals menu. You have to go to the y equals menu, where all the y's are. Okay. So, in fact, here, I'll demonstrate this again for the second one. For the second rule, we press parentheses, not -2, but -2, negative right by the decimal point. So typing in -2x minus 1, and then hit right parentheses. Now, when I want to type in the restriction for which golf balls to which this rule applies, where do I find that thick /? Where? No, it's not the division symbol. It's not the division symbol. I have to use a special keystroke. What is that special keystroke? Say alpha y equals. Yeah, it's alpha y equals, or basically it's on F1. I mean, that's why you press green, because it's really on F1. So this is where you find it. It's right here, F1, 1. That's where you get that thick division sign like, and that's, now we can type in parentheses, x is greater than or equal to 0. Which menu has the greater than or equal to sign again? Peter, do you have a question or an answer?
Question.
First, let's finish this, and then I'll take your question. Which menu has the greater than or equal to symbol on it? Yeah, it's on, so it's a test menu, which is right above math. So hit second test, pick up the greater than or equal to symbol, type in a 0. That's how, when you press graph, that you get the 2-piece function. Now, at this point, I'd like to pause and take questions. Who had their hand up? Someone had their hand up.
Oh, I
Yeah.
understand.
You understand now? Okay. So, I'd like you to take some time, make sure you can type in the piecewise function. The first piece goes in one of the y equals, the other piece goes in the other one. Yeah, Sarah?
How do you get the less than?
That's on the test menu. So if I were, in fact, I'll just kind of demonstrate this as if I'd never done that one before. So I'm going to delete those and pretend I'm getting them for the first time. So delete, delete, delete. So when I want to do the less than symbol, it's on the test menu. You have to test each golf ball to see if it's less than 0. That's how you can remember it. So second less than. And it's item number 5, less than 0 parentheses. Okay?
I still get
Well, once it's time to type in the less than symbol, notice how test is in baby blue? So press the baby blue second button first. Press second, followed by the math button.
that. Oh,
That brings you to the test menu. Item 5 gives you the less than sign. Just out of curiosity, raise your hand if you were able to get this graph to appear on your screen. Let's see. Looks like three people. Oh no, there's more, 4. So go ahead and help each other out. If you're stuck, check with the shoulder partner. Your shoulder partner might be able to help you. I'm going to pause the camera until the next example. All right, welcome back. Now, we're going to move on to example number 2, I believe. Yep, example 1's there. So let's go to the next page. And on the next page, there are 3 rules. And this can be done by hand, but see if you can, if you're in math print mode, it'll look like this. Notice how they type in 0 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than or equal to 2. It has to be typed in as 2 separate statements. So try to type in this second problem so that it looks like what you have on your handout. It'll be a 3-piece function. So I'm going to pause the camera there, and then we'll come back, see how you did. So on your calculator, the first piece should have a slope of 1 with an intercept at -1. And if this were on the test, and there is one problem like this on next block day's test. So for you, it'll be next Thursday. You'll be given a problem where all you have to do is type it in to your calculator like this and just sketch whatever you see on the calculator. I would recommend that you trace the boundary values. Like for example, if you press trace 0, enter, the golf ball will end up at -2, won't it? Try it. Press trace 0, enter. That tells you that you have an open circle at 0, -1 and a closed circle at 0, -2. The trace feature tells you where the holes are, and likewise. Notice that if you do a trace 2, enter, how high is golf ball 2 according to your calculator? Yeah, it's up at 2. It's not up at 5. So that's how you know that, and it's a good idea to just plug in the boundary values so that when you transfer what's on your calculator to the test that you're going to be handing in next Thursday on block day, you'll know how to transfer the calculator graph onto a paper graph. Do you have any questions as to how you can use your calculator to find out how to get this paper-based answer to this example? So it looks like we're good to go there. Does anyone need more time or any questions on this example right here? All right, let's turn the page. Now, these problems on the next page, honestly, this last one, it's like, there's no way we would make you do something that complicated on the block day test. That's just kind of like a fun challenge problem. But this one could happen. So see if you can try to get all 3 pieces of this piecewise function from your calculator onto your paper. So please try this one on your own. And just to confirm then, there is no homework due on Tuesday. It's just to finish this handout. And okay, so we wrapped up that example. Your calculator should have given you a graph that looks like this. There is no homework due on Tuesday. However, if you want to get a head start as you study for next week's test on block day, here's what I would recommend. I would recommend that you look at the blank notes for Unit 2. Because here's what we're going to be doing in class next Tuesday. All you got to do is go to Topics and click Unit 2 if you're thinking like, I really want to be, I want to have a good review and I want to start before next Tuesday. I'm going to take some time this weekend. I'll tell you what, just go to the end of the Unit 2 notes. And at the end of the Unit 2 notes is Tuesday's review packet. Here you see the stuff we did today. And then here it is. These are This is the first page of Chapter 2, Review Information. So these are some problems that you can start doing to review for the block day test. So have a good weekend. We'll see you Tuesday.